Still going higher, so we are just setting because today is the first class. Okay. Great to see this number. That's good. I'm Pavithra Mohan. Okay, I'm a practicing company secretary. I have close to 10 years of experience. So I will be taking a business communication class. Okay, so we just do it in this pattern. So I'll just brief you how I'll be teaching. Fine. So we have close to 8 chapters in this subject. Okay. So and moreover, business communication is not something like a very difficult chapter where you have to put in a lot of efforts and all these things. This is basically a general knowledge chapter where you should have the general understanding of how English is being used. Okay, so don't feel so scared that we are not understanding and all those things. Once I complete this entire 8 chapters, I will share this PPT with the chapter. Okay, and after that you will be able to receive a copy. Fine. So the highlighted PPT, highlighted PDF, what is there, it will be shared with you. Fine. You can go through this slowly, make your own notes, and then start preparing. It's not too hard or a difficult thing. You will not be able to understand or anything. Okay, then fine. So we have some power backup here. So I might lose the connection for a minute or two when I'm changing from generator and coming back to the power backup. Okay, the regular power. Fine. So if people are not able to hear or not able to see, kindly turn off and turn in again. That is log out and log in again. So once you do that, your everything will be perfect. Okay. So we can't just fine. Major people, I'll just ask, is everybody able to see and hear me? Awesome. Most of them are able to see. So if anybody has an issue, kindly do this. Just log out, okay, and log in back. You'll be able to hear to me, okay? And the entire class will be in English, fine? If you have some difficulty, if you're not understanding, after each topic, I'll just give a break. Then you can just let us know what are your doubts. Okay, fine. So we just start with the just a minute. Oh, I don't know what's happening. Okay. So the first chapter, what we are going to start today is going to be English grammar and its usage. Okay. So here, first we will understand as to what is English. Like most of the people think that's a different language where it's very difficult and all these things. It's not actually that difficult. English is something, a language where you just have to learn over a period of time, you'll become very comfortable. Okay, it's not that I'm finding it very difficult, I'm not able to learn it or something like this. We can slowly understand what are the concepts, what are the different parts in this grammar. Okay, like in in any mother tongue language that you talk, you will have different things, like where I can use a particular word, where I'm not supposed to use a particular word. If I'm talking about a male, there are particular endings for a particular word. If I'm talking about a female, there is a particular ending for a particular word. Okay, like this, even in English it is pretty common. Okay, but we just try to make it little difficult or try to sound it little difficult. That's not the case really. Okay, English is very simple, and this is how we are going to take this class ahead. I repeat again, if anybody is not able to listen to my voice, kindly log out and log in. It will be visible. Okay, so the thing what we are going to try to do here today is We are going to explain the concepts. Okay, if you're asking me for the highlighted PPT, yes, we will share it at the end of the class. Okay, end of all the classes, we will share the document with you. You can go through that to make your notes. Fine. So we will just start with the first one. What is grammar and its usage? English language follows a set of rules like all other languages. That's what I told you. Like any other language, like Hindi or uh, like whatever you say, Hindi, Marathi, Punjabi, or whichever language we talk, we have a set of rules. We can't use it the way we speak. So if you see people, the way they speak Hindi in Delhi will be different. The people who speak Hindi in Mumbai, that is because of the usage and the mother tongue influence, okay, the place where we stay. The same way, English has also got its own essence. So we have two types of English here. So one English will be as per British accent, the other one will be as per American accent, okay. But the widely used and widely accepted concept will be the British accent, okay. So the British accent is something which we are very comfortable, and over years it's being used, and everybody known about how it is being used. With respect to this, we'll try to understand how the language is being developed. Okay, here uh, parts of grammar concerned with changes in the form of words by internal modification or by affixation is known as accident, and the manner in which these words are arranged in the form of a sentence is called as a syntax. So don't worry that, ma'am, how will they ask this, how the question will be and all. It is simple. Okay, when I'm using a group of words, like let's say this is a tree. Okay, I'm using this is a tree. I'm using four words. So when I'm using these four words, what I'm collecting from the group of all available words in English is called as accidents. Okay. When I'm putting this particular four words in a form of a sentence, this is a tree. Okay. Arranging all the four things in the form of a sentence, then it is called as a syntax. Okay. I'll explain again. When I select a group of words, okay, to form a particular sentence, when I'm selecting from all the words available in English, that's called as accidents. When these particular words are arranged in a particular format to give a particular meaning, then it is called as syntax. Okay, here, for example, what they have done is they have used the word beat. Okay, so in the word beat, what they are doing, they're telling the word beat remains unchanged in the following sentences. That is the word beat. Okay. Now, how it can give different meanings when I'm using this same word beat. The angry mob was beating the thief mercilessly. That means beating becomes an action. Okay. I am hitting him continuously because I was angry. Okay. The same thing, the beat of the drum set people into frenzy. That is, what is beat here? Sound. Okay. In one beat, it meant like hit. The other beat, it meant like sound. Okay. Here, what I'm doing, I'm collecting certain words. Okay. And after that, that accident, I'm doing into a syntax, that is a statement. Okay, but when I'm doing it as a statement, I can either use it as a verb, I can either use it as a noun. I'll explain what is verb and noun in the coming sheets. Okay, going forward. The beat generation, that is, young people with unconventional dress and behavior as expression of social philosophy, has its own ethics. Okay, so what they are telling, beat generation. So what is beat generation? The current generation. So the word beat is having different meanings. So when the same word has different meanings, what they call it, we call it in English, like in school, what they would have called similar words, opposite words. Okay, but here in a professional way, we call it as synonyms as similar words, antonyms as opposite words. Okay, so when a single word has different meanings, then it means we don't call it as similar words going forward, we call them as synonyms. Okay, when a single word has an opposite meaning, then it is called as antonyms. Okay, so here we understood how one single word has different synonyms, how I can use it differently. Okay, the same way, the next one, what they have used is confirm. We received a confirmation of the order in writing yesterday. Okay, confirmation is something where I'm getting a agreement saying that yes, what you have done is confirmed. Okay, the second one is the party confirmed the receipt of the consignment. That is, they have agreed that what we have sent is okay for them. Okay, he is a confirmed defaulter. That means they are telling that he is that person who will definitely do a default. Okay, so here confirm is used in three different aspects, that is in place of noun, in place of verb, in place of adjective. Okay, I'll explain you now what are nouns, adjectives, and different parts of speech. So in this class, we are going to cover these many are those aspects. It's going to be parts of speech. That is noun, pronoun, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. Okay, we will do everything in brief so that you understand what are these concepts. These concepts are just basics where in CS we are trying to help you out so that when you study something like law, okay, you are able to understand what we are talking about. Okay, for that, for the basic purpose, they have got something called as parts of speech and grammar, the first aspect. So you understand how to present things. Okay, so don't get too much tensed. What are these are coming back and all. You would have studied this very much in your school. The same things we are covering here. Okay, so first thing we start with noun. I'll just ask you one question. How many of you all have played this game, name, place, animal, thing? Everybody would have played this. Yes, fast. Name, place, animal, thing. Awesome. So everybody has played this game, right? So what is a noun? A noun is nothing but name of a person, uh, place where I speak about. That place is a noun. Then anything that I talk about, like a tree, apple, or anything like that. Place animal. Yeah, and the next one is an animal. Okay, animal is like any object, bird, animal, insect, whatever I talk about. That will be called as a noun. Here, in for example, look at the above example. Here, what they say is person Rahul is a noun, animal dog is a noun, place park is a noun, and then car is a noun. Okay, and here noise is also considered as a sorry, idea is also considered, noise is considered as a noun because it is a thing. Okay, which I can hear. I can hear that thing. Okay, so name, place, animal, thing is basically considered as noun. Okay, so what happens in noun? In noun, we have three things. Okay, here they have given us two, but if if you see, there are three things. Okay, what are these three things? The three things in noun can be common noun, collective noun, pronoun. Okay, so here, what is common noun? Things that are used for common examples are called as common noun. For example, in common, when I name all persons, places, or things of a particular class or same class, like what? Bank, shop, market. So this is common. So when it is common to a particular like a group of things together, like a bank is a common thing, market is a common thing, and exhibition is a common thing, or a college is a common thing. Okay, so that is what is called as common noun. When a name, place, animal, thing is being used commonly by all people, it is called as common noun. Okay, then you have collective noun. So what happens in collective noun, including another class as collective noun? A collective noun names a group of people, animal, or things regarded as a whole, like a batch, a company, a university, a crowd, or a flock. So let's say the CSEET June batch. Okay, that means it's a collective noun. If I talk about ICSI Institute Delhi, it is a collective noun. If I speak about ICSI as a whole, then it is a common noun. Okay, so when I speak about a particular batch, it is called as collective noun. When I talk about a particular chapter in a particular region, it is a collective noun. But when I speak about ICSI as a whole, then it is a common noun. Okay, then we get into something called as proper nouns. So what happens in proper nouns? I am explaining about something in particular. I speak about a particular place, particular thing, particular animal or something. Then it becomes a proper noun. For example, they have given India, Larsen and Tobo, or Delhi or January. Okay, if I speak about a particular thing in respect to a particular name, place, animal, thing, then it will be called as a proper noun. So noun means name, place, animal, thing. In noun, we have three categories, that is common noun, collective noun, and after that proper noun. Okay, then after that we get into something called as pronoun. So what happens in pronoun? Pronouns are used in place of noun. In place of noun, that is name, place, animal, thing, if I'm using something more specific, that is more personal or more relative, okay, then it is called as pronoun. So what is being more personal? Here, personal pronouns will be I, we, you, she, he, it, him, us, them. Okay, so let's say instead of telling I am Pavithra Mohan, I like doing a particular job. Okay, the first sentence where I'm using, I gave my name Pavithra Mohan, or we can give it as Sheila is a good girl. She likes playing. So in the first word, I used Sheila, and the second sentence, what I used it as she. She means whom? It is Sheila. Okay, so that's called as pronoun. Okay, second sentence when I start with I, we, you, she, he, it, them, or that place, or something like that, then it is called as personal pronoun. The next one will be relative pronoun. So relative pronoun will be as whom, which, that. So when I'm using a word which is trying to identify who are they, whom was it, which place did you go, is Switzerland beautiful? Which place in Switzerland is beautiful? Okay, when I use something like this, which, to get more information about name, place, animal, thing, okay, then it is called as relative pronoun. Then we have possessive pronoun. Possessive pronoun says, this is my bike. Okay, this is my car. This is our house. Okay, is this yours? This is your pen, or this is their house. Okay, when I'm using some words like this to describe a name, place, animal, thing belonging to a particular group of people, then it is called as possessive pronouns. Okay, so pronouns are something which are giving more depth to name, place, animal, thing. In this we have three types. One is personal, the second one is relative, and the third one will be possessive. Okay, then after that we get into something called as adjectives. Just a minute. Okay, so after that we get into something called as adjectives. So what happens in adjectives? A word used to describe or point out a person, animal, place, or thing which the nouns name or tell the number or quantity is called as adjective. So now I told you, please understand, for noun it will be adjective, for verb it will be adverb. Okay, so something that gives more importance to name, place, animal, thing will be called as adjective. So let's say I told you Switzerland is a very beautiful place. So I'm using something called as very beautiful. So very beautiful is an adjective. Okay, I'm trying to describe Switzerland, a place, using a particular word. The same way here they've given example, Rani is a clever girl. Okay, they're not just telling Rani is a girl. They're telling Rani is a clever girl. So they are using one particular word to emphasize what her nature is. Okay, or he gave me books. instead of that, he's telling he gave me 6 books. So if I'm giving a particular explanation to describe my name, place, animal, thing, then it is called as adjective. Okay, so the next example what they've given here is two or more words can be joined with a hyphen to form a compound adjective. Example, government financed project. This is a government financed project, or we can say this is a project that is simple. Okay, I'm just talking about a project, but when I say this is a government financed project, it says that this project is being government financed. So I'm telling how this project is being funded. Okay, so when a name, place, animal, thing is being explained in a particular way to give more importance, okay, then that particular word which comes before the noun will be considered as an adjective. Any doubts with noun uh, and adjective? Awesome. Okay, so my class more or less will be like this. So we will explain one concept. After that, I will ask you what are the meaning, if you have any doubts. Okay. Compound adjective is something where two words, instead of one word being used as to explain a name, place, animal, thing, if I'm giving two words, as I told you, Switzerland is a very beautiful place. Okay, I can just say Switzerland is a beautiful place, where I say uh, only beautiful will be an adjective. But here I'm using Switzerland is a very beautiful place. That means I'm using two adjectives. Very beautiful. That is called as compound adjectives. Syntax accident is the group of words which I select from all the words available. Syntax is the way I place these words. Okay, fine. We'll just go ahead. Next, what we start is verbs. So, what happens in verbs? So, verb is nothing but a action. Okay, so when I speak about an action, what happens in these actions? A verb is a word that tells or asserts something about a person or a thing. Okay, verb comes from a Latin word which means verbum, meaning a word. Okay, so when I'm trying to explain some activity or function or action, what a person is doing, that is where verb will come into picture. For example, when they've just started with this, what a person or thing does. Okay, like Rohit runs, the bell rings. The action, what they are doing or what a thing performs, will be considered as verb. So action or any motion created by any noun will be considered as a verb. Okay. Now, what is done to a person or thing? Ram is beaten, the door is broken. Okay, or I damage something to a, I hurt something, then that will also be considered. What is done to a thing or a person? Then what a person or thing is. The boy is hurt, the chair is broken, I feel sad. Okay, so action or feelings which expresses a name, place, animal, thing, or a noun. Okay, it's called as a verb. Okay, so wherever an action comes into picture or a feeling comes into picture in a sentence, that is called as verb. Okay, here, hence a verb. Hence, a verb is a word used to tell or ascertain something about some person or thing. Okay, so it is explaining me something about a person or a thing, right? Then something called as adverb comes into picture. I told you, for noun we have adjectives, for verb we have adverbs. So what are adverbs? Adverbs are basically like uh, something that gives more stress to a verb. For example, I'll just start this. While adjectives qualify or add to the meaning of noun, adverbs modify the meaning not only of verb but also of adjectives, prepositions, conjunctions. I'll explain you what are prepositions and conjunctions. We have just explained what is adjective. Okay, noun, adjectives, verb, adverb. Okay, so adverbs are something which will actually give more meaning to the verb. Okay, so what happens? For example, small investors find it very difficult to invest wisely. Okay. For example, I can just write the sentence with a verb saying that small investors find it difficult to invest. But here, what they are doing, they want to give more emphasis. So they are using a word called very, and also they are using a word called wisely. Okay, so very difficult is an action or a feeling, okay, to do perform some activity. And here wisely is I have to think before I do this activity. So very and wisely will become an adverb. So I'm already using a verb called as difficult, but I want to give more emphasis to my verb, hence I'm using a word called as verb, or sorry, very or wisely. Okay, hence it becomes small investors find it very difficult to invest wisely. Okay, the next example what they have given is the CEO is exceptionally sharp manager. So if I just give it as sharp, it will be one quality. Okay, but to define sharp more precisely, I'm using one more word called as exceptionally sharp. So the word exceptionally becomes something called as adverb. Okay, then you have the cash counter is right behind you. That means the cash counter is right behind you. So where is the cash counter? Behind, front, left, right side, back side, something like that, which says where is it being positioned. Okay, that will be a preposition. Sorry, adjective. Okay, so here exceptionally is one adjective. The second one is right behind, where it acts as a preposition and also acts as an adverb. I'll tell you what is preposition in the coming up parts. Okay. Then we have given this book to you only because you are a good reviewer. So they have not just told you are a reviewer, they have told you are a good reviewer. So good is a word which is giving emphasis on the reviewer, that is my quality or the action or the word which I'm doing. For that, I'm giving more emphasis. So good comes into picture. So when two sentences are being added with because, it becomes conjunction. When two sentences are being added with but, if, because or something, then it will be called as conjunctions. I'll cover it in the coming up concepts. So one we have as adverbs. Adverbs will give the feelings, expressions, or something what we want to explain about a noun. And the second one is adverb, which will, first one was verb, the second one is adverb, which will give us more information about the information what we have used. Okay, like how a verb is being used, how it can be improved in order to give more efficiency to the verb. Fine. Any doubts with verb and adverb? A reviewer cannot be a noun because it is a explanation about his quality of being a reviewer. Sad is not noun. Sad is a feeling. Too many things coming. 1 minute. ICSI will be a common noun. ICSI Delhi chapter will be a collective noun. Okay, there are too many things coming up. Fine. Okay. You will get the recording of the class. If you have not understood few concepts, don't worry, you can go back and listen to the recording again. Okay, you can play it back and listen to it. Fine. So that's what we covered with verb and adverb. The next one, what we are going to start is prepositions. So what are prepositions? So when I want to explain certain concepts, I want to tell where it is being placed. Okay, let's say it is being placed above, it is being placed below, it is being placed right next to me, or the cat is above the cupboard, or the book is placed below the shelf, or the chair is kept right behind me. Okay, where I'm trying to explain where a particular object is being kept, above, below, next to me, or it is ahead of me, or it is along with me, where I'm telling something that is where it is being positioned around me, that is called as prepositions. A preposition by definition is placed before a noun or its equivalent in order to show its relationships in terms of time and place. This, for example, the space above the room houses the conference facility. So where is the space? It is above. So above is called as a preposition. Okay, when I'm trying to say where it is positioned in order to give more emphasis on what it explains, then it is called as preposition. For example, what they have told us, almost all our great writers have allowed themselves to end a sentence or a clause with a preposition. Thus, the thumb rule is that the sentence should read well. So, most of the times, what happens when you read any novels, or if you see any series or something, there you will know we believe in God above all. I think I need to trust in God uh, above all, or something like that. When they use something called as preposition at the end. Why? Because to give more emphasis in my writing. So it can be an individual style how you use prepositions, but prepositions are nothing but a place which I'm the position of some word, or a noun or a verb which I'm trying to give in order to emphasize how things will work. Okay, then here examples of uh, prepositions are above. Okay, the next one is across. Then ahead makes progress. Along is manage. At, gain access to, or away escape, over forget, round applaud. So it can be anything like it's around me, or it's about me, it's across the river, or it's ahead of time. It is at the beginning. Okay, at is something which is giving as a preposition, or it is away from me, I'm not able to access. When I'm expressing something which is giving the position of the noun or a adjective, then it is called as preposition. Okay, these words will be called as prepositions. Then we have something called as conjunctions. So what are conjunctions? Conjunctions are nothing but join words or even sentences conveying related idea. The most commonly used conjunctions are and but. So when I want to include two sentences and make it into one, okay, let's say this is a beautiful place and it has amazing food. Okay, and this place serves amazing food. Like that, if I say, where instead of breaking one sentence, giving a full stop, and then writing a new sentence, what I'm going to do is I'm going to include two sentences. In three sentences, I have used and but and made it into one sentence. Okay, when I'm using certain things to make a build a single sentence instead of multiple sentences, then it is called as conjunction. In conjunctions also, there are certain things called correlative conjunctions. So what are those? Conjunctions may be used either in can be used in pairs like neither nor, either or, not only but also, both and, whether or. Okay, so if you see, I neither belong to Delhi nor Haryana. Okay, if I just say that, it means I don't belong to Delhi nor Haryana. So when I'm using something called as neither nor, then that particular sentence where I'm using neither nor, that conjunction will be called as correlative conjunctions. So I have to use it as either or. If I'm using neither, it has to be nor. Okay, so when I'm using certain words together, okay, like neither nor, either or, but also, and all these things, then it will be called as correlative conjunctions. When I'm using two conjunctions in one statement, it will be called as correlative conjunctions. Here it is and but. Okay, so when I'm using two conjunctions, it will be called correlative conjunctions. If I'm using only one conjunction, it will be called as conjunctions. Okay, the thing what we covered here was preposition, and the second thing what we covered was conjunction. Sorry, thanks for reminding, my batteries. Fine. The recordings will be available to you it will be given by the chapter, not by us. So you have to contact the chapter later on after completion of all the classes might be. Okay. The next one comes into picture after clear with the prepositions and conjunctions. When two sentences are added into one sentence, we use certain words like and, but, and all these things. That is called as conjunctions. Yes, because is also a conjunction. Okay. After this, we start with something called as interjections. So what are interjections? In interjections, what happens is, are words which are used in a sentence to express strong emotions or feelings. It may not form a part of the grammatical structure of the sentence. Okay, for example, hi, comma, how are you? Or oh, alas. So let's say, oh, I didn't know this. Hi, how are you? Oh my God, is this true? When we use some words like this to express our feelings or shock or disbelief or something like this, or happiness, hi, hey, what's up, or something like this. When a particular word is being used, but it does not form a part of that particular sentence, okay, this word is not forming a part of the sentence, then it is called as interjections. Fine. So what happens in interjections are, these are basically words which are giving more expression to my sentence, like hi, hey, how, uh, is it, how can I help you? So when I'm using some words like this, okay, which is basically not a part of a sentence, but it is giving my expression of feeling, it's called as interjections. Fine, just a minute. Yes, verb is an interjection. um Belong falls under preposition. Okay, fine. So there were certain questions, I'm just checking on that parallelly, it's not left out. Okay, so those are called as interjections. The next one, what comes into picture is, the next after understanding the different parts of speech, I'll explain once again. Here we did different parts of speech. The first one was noun, name, place, animal, thing. Then we did pronoun. In pronoun, it gives more emphasis to a noun, which is particular, like I, me, he, she, mine, hers, all these things will be pronouns. Then we have adjective, which gives more emphasis to a pronoun. Beautiful place, beautiful dog, or something like that. That's called as adjective. Then the next one was verbs. Actions or feelings are called as verbs. Then we have adverbs. Adverbs are giving emphasis to a verb. Very good, very good running, or very good presentation, or something like that. Then it is called as that word very will be called as adjective. Then we have prepositions, which tells where I'm going to position my noun, verb, whatever it comes in a sentence. Then we have conjunctions. Conjunctions are and, but, because, all these things, where two different sentences can be combined into one sentence. Then we did interjections. Interjections are words which do not form a part of the sentence but expresses your feelings, like oh, alas, hooray, wah, hey, all these things. Okay, so those are called as interjections. So after completing the parts of speech, we are going to different types of voices. So I'm pretty clear. Okay. So I'm pretty clear. You would have done something called as active voice and passive voice in your school. Okay, definitely in your before your 10th standard exam, they would have told, they would have given a sentence in passive language and asked you passive voice and asked you to convert into active voice. The same way they could have given it in active voice and they could have asked you to convert it into a passive voice. Okay, so here what they are telling is what are the different types of speech, that is active voice and passive voice. Here active voice, what they say is active voices are used in our sentences, and such sentences are generally short, direct, and emphatic. Okay, for example, please place the order within 60 days of the receipt of the quotation. Okay, it's very direct. It doesn't give any extra words being used. They are very direct and they tell what we want or what we are expecting from you. And the next one will be an exception is, however, made when sending out negative messages or fixing responsibilities. So when I'm using active voices, right, and I have to give some negative information, or when I have to give a reply or something, I can't be very rude. The rude way is you have failed to place the order in the order in time. So that's being rude. Okay. Rather, I can say the same active voice. I can be slightly polite and say, unfortunately, the order has been delayed. Okay, so when I say unfortunately the order has been delayed, that means I couldn't take up your order and you had to place it within a certain time. You didn't place, hence I'm not able to take up your order. Okay, even when I'm using an active speech, I'm trying to be relatively passionate in expressing my feelings. Okay, so active speech is something where it is very direct and it tells what I'm supposed to do. Here, for example, is then we find something called as passive speech. Passive speech is also found more suitable while drafting legal formulations, as no identifiable subject can be mentioned. For example, active voice, how it will come, follow the traffic rules while driving. But in passive voice, how it will be shown, the traffic rules should be followed while driving. Okay, here what they do is active voice will be very direct. Okay, don't drink and drive. Okay, but the passive voice can be, we kindly advise you not to drink and drive. Drinking and driving is being prohibited or advised not to be followed. Okay, when I'm trying to explain a statement more, then it is called as passive voice, when I'm trying to explain, express, and give more information. But active voice is something which is crisp and clear, and it will give what the content is supposed to be. So something where I'm trying to explain a point to the point, okay, express it in short, that will be called as active voice. Whereas if I'm explaining a point beyond a content, then it will be called as passive voice. Okay, then in these words, we also in English we also come across with the next concept called as articles. So articles are nothing but flat. Okay, a and the. Okay, there are only three articles, that is a, and the. When I use any of these words, a and the, it is called as article. Okay, the beginning of the sentence begins with a or an or the. That means I have used an article in my sentence. I repeat, a and the is an article. The beginning of a sentence begins with any of these three articles, then it means that I have used article in my sentence. Okay. The words a or an and the are called as articles. They come before nouns. A or an is called the indefinite article because it usually leaves indefinite the person or the thing what we are talking about. For example, a doctor, that is any doctor. A student, it speaks about any student. Okay, so it is not speaking about a particular thing. So when I'm using a and an, it is called as indefinite article. But whereas when I'm using the word the in front of a noun, it says I'm using a definite article because it normally points out some particular person or a thing, as he saw the doctor. See here, when it says the doctor, it means before the noun they have added something called as he saw a doctor, means he saw some doctor. He saw the doctor meaning some particular doctor. So this is standard in English. That is, a and the are three types of articles. Okay, when I use these articles in front of a noun, okay, a and an is being used, then it means indefinite article. When I use the, it means it is a definite article. This is a standard set rule, okay, in English. Then after that, they have given certain few more examples. Indefinite articles for singular countable nouns, it will be used. That is, a car, an apple, a table. So when there is a single countable noun, it is not multiple. A cars, I can't say. I have to say the cars. I can't say a houses. It has to be the houses. Okay. So when I'm using multiple words, that is plural nouns, I can't use a or an. I have to use the. Okay. The definite article is used before singular countable noun, plural countable noun, and uncountable nouns. The pen, the pens, the milk, the idea. Okay, so the can be used wherever it is possible, but a can be used, a or an can be used only before singular countable noun, not on multiple countable noun. So if you want to use a article in front of singular countable noun, plural countable noun, and uncountable nouns, then we can take it as the. Okay, so where does and come into picture? And comes into picture in front of vowels. So we all know a, e, I, o, u are called as vowels in English. Okay, so it's not the word starting with this, it is the pronunciation that I'm starting with this. Okay, how is the pronunciation? Let's say he walks like an Egyptian. Egyptian. So the pronunciation is what I'm going to concentrate. So he walks like an Egyptian. Okay. She has planted a eucalyptus tree. Here, a you. Why I'm saying you? Because here the pronunciation is not you. The pronunciation is y. You. Okay. Eucalyptus tree. That's why it becomes a. Okay. Then he is an honest man. Oh, ho. So I'm concentrating something called as honest, hence it is pronunciation which comes into picture. So we call it as, it is a vowel pronunciation. So we start with honest, honest, and we give it as an. Okay. He has joined a union. Here, you, if you see, it is not you, it is Y. The pronunciation what comes is Y. That's why in front of Y, A will come. In front of you pronunciation, and will come. I have lost a rupee note, 1 rupee note. One is one. N is getting more emphasis. O is being subordinated. Hence, the pronunciation is what matters. So if you're not able to understand this, kindly start reading books or some small basic novels or something. You will understand how a word is being pronounced. If you are not able to follow this, then how the words begin, then I would advise you to try with something called as something called as www.m-w.com. There it will tell you how the word pronunciation begins. Okay, so based on the pronunciation, you can start. Fine. That's what I told. Why is it a eucalyptus tree? Because eucalyptus tree, I'm not speaking about you. It's coming as U. U is Y. Okay, it starts with Y. Okay, the pronunciation starts with Y. Eucalyptus. It's not eucalyptus. It's not E that I'm pronouncing more. I'm pronouncing more on U. Okay, union again. If you see, it is Y. U. Okay, so that's why it is called as eucalyptus or union. Fine. A few people might be thinking, why is she talking about all those things? It's a private message which is popping up in my chat box. So I'm just responding to them. Okay. So the main thing what comes into picture here is pronunciation. Okay. Based on the pronunciation, if the word is giving you a vowel pronunciation, then kindly go ahead and use an. Okay. Otherwise use a. When you're using articles, kindly be careful. What is conjunction? You're still going back again and again. See, if you're not able to understand, don't worry. The recordings will definitely be shared. Okay. You'll not get it immediately. It has to be recorded. It has to be uploaded in the server. After that, they will provide it to you. You can go back and revise once. Fine. So here we covered something called as article. The next one is usage. Usage is something how you use a language. So most of the times what we do is the way you speak in English or the way you speak in Hindi, the same words you will transfer it to English and you will try to put it into a statement. Like you would have seen many people if you go near the market or something where people try to speak English but they'll not be knowing English. So how they try to cope up with English, the words what they know, okay, they'll have a sentence in Hindi, they will know certain words in English, they will fill in those words with English words, they will break up something and they will speak. That's what is called as usage. Okay, so kindly be careful when you're using a language. Don't use your mother tongue influence. Fine, this is very important where you're trying to speak in a new language. So English is not something new for all Indians here. We do understand, we have studied that. So kindly try to build up your body in the language in which you're speaking. Okay, don't get your mother tongue influence into English or any language for that matter. Okay, so here what they say is the body of conventions governing the use of language, especially those aspects not governed by grammatical rules. Okay, habitual or customary usage. So we are habitual to that and we just start using it. For example, in our mother tongue, if they ask who is this, it will say, it is me. Okay, main hu, or like that we will answer. But it is supposed to be, it is I. Okay, in English, it is supposed to be, it is I, it is I, Pavithra Mohan, like that is supposed to we have to speak. But since we have the mother tongue language, it's me. Okay, we just say it as it is me. It's not actually correct. It is supposed to be it is I. So this doesn't have so much of importance. Used in practical manner, right? And after that, we move to something. So kindly unmute yourself. Okay. The next thing what we get into picture is tenses. So in tenses we have Mike, please turn off your mic. Mike, please turn off your mic. Okay. The tenses what we get into next are called as past tense, present tense, and future tense. Okay, these are the three tenses which are there in English language. So how these tenses come into picture? If I'm speaking about, this is all in a timeline. Okay, if I'm speaking about something happening today, okay, if I'm speaking about coronavirus today, then it means I'm speaking about present tense. Okay, if I'm speaking about something like SARS, it means I'm speaking about something like past. Okay, SARS came in past, I'm talking something about past things. So it is all in the timeline. So in the timeline, if I'm speaking something about current time, then it is called as present. If I'm speaking about something that's already happened, then it is called as past. If I'm talking something about future, what's going to happen in 10 years down the line, they have told COVID-19 will come back again in 2030. Okay, that means I'm speaking about something in the future that's going to happen. That's called as future tense. Okay, here we get into basics of what is present, past, and future. Okay, now these words comes from Latin words tempus. So the word tense is something which comes from a Latin word which means tempus. Okay, so here if you see, read the following sentences. That is, I write this letter to my mother. I wrote the letter yesterday. I shall write another letter tomorrow. So here I write this letter, okay, to my mother. I write. So today I'm writing. So that means it's present. I wrote a letter yesterday. So yesterday is already past. So it's past tense. I shall write another letter tomorrow. So tomorrow is future. So shall write will be my future tense. So here if you see, write is the verb. Okay. The verb is changing for each tense. Write will be, the verb will remain same in the present tense. It will become wrote in past tense. It will become shall write in the future tense. So it all describes with the help of the verb. What is the verb tense in? So when you start reading this, kindly maybe you can start with some small books or something. Okay, go back to your basic grammar books, or even in I have one more website. Okay, I'll just share that. Might be after another 2 3 chapters, that's IELTS, where you will understand how passages are being given. Okay, in that also you will understand how these verbs will change tense. Write will become wrote, read will be read, read, read. Okay, I have to, the spelling will be same, but the tense what I use will be different. Okay, then bring, brought, brought. Okay, like this, the word verb, okay, will keep changing for tenses. Okay, that you have to start working with certain examples online. You have to just check Google, and then you can start searching for that. The next one what comes into picture here is, in present tense there will be four different tenses. That is simple present, perfect continuous, present perfect, and then you have present perfect continuous. Okay, so in each of these tenses, that is simple, present, past, future, in all of these three individually, if I take only present, in present there are four breakups. Okay, in present there are four breakups. The four breakups will be simple present, present continuous, present perfect, present perfect continuous. Okay, here, just a minute. I will just check the 1 minute. I'm just checking the chat box. Okay, so here the present tense will be divided into four concepts. That is simple present, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous. Okay, so how will this be? I read a book, or I read a book. I read a book is, today I'm reading a book and I read a book. That's all. It is simple. It doesn't have anything happening apart from read. So I read a book. So the verb here is just read. So it is simple present. I am reading a book. The verb becomes reading. When it becomes reading, it is continuing. Okay. In present, I am continuing. I'm continuing to read. I have read a book. Have comes for perfect tense, that is present perfect. I have read a book. So that means today I have read a book. Present perfect. So if have comes, it becomes present. I have been reading a book. Have is present, been is continuous. Okay, then it becomes reading. If I use have, it becomes perfect. After that, I'm using something called as reading. I have been reading. That means present perfect continuous. Why is it continuous? Because the verb becomes reading. Okay. Why is it perfect? Because it has something called present perfect, because it has something called as have been. So always know, if it is only a verb, it is present. If the verb says continuing action like reading, then it will be present continuous. In front of a verb, if you have the word have, okay, it is present perfect. In front of reading, please note this, it is a continuous tense. Reading has have been, then it is called as present perfect continuous. Okay, I'll just explain it for past and perfect, then you will understand a little bit better. Now we just get into past. That is simple past, past continuous, past perfect. Then you have past perfect continuous. So here we started with jumped. So the verb is already action, jump. I jump from the window will be present. I jumped. That means I have jumped. That is past. So here it is, I jumped from the window. So I've already completed the action sometime in future, sometime in past. So that means it is simple past. Okay. The next one is I was jumping from the window. That means I was jumping. The word, a verb, if you see, it is continuing tense, jumping. So that means it becomes was jumping. I was jumping. I am jumping means yes, it is present. Here it is was. So I was jumping means it is past continuous. Okay. Then you have I had jumped. Had means it is past. See, for present it is have, for past it is had. Okay, for present it is have, for past it is had. I had jumped from the window. Had jumped makes it past perfect. I had been jumping makes it past perfect continuous. Had been jumping. Had been jumping. So jumping is continuous. Had is perfect. Had been makes it past perfect continuous tense. Okay. The next one will be future tense. I shall or will jump. So in front of jump, I'm giving it as I shall or will jump. So in future, I might do it. So simple past. I shall or will be jumping. My verb is turning into continuous tense. Hence, it is in future I will be jumping. Okay. In future past, what is happening? I shall or will have jumped. Will or shall followed by have will make it as future tense. Jumped. Okay. I shall or will have jumped. I shall or will have been jumping. So jumping is a verb continuous. Will have been or shall have been is come into picture. So it is future perfect continuous tense. Okay. So now I'll tell you in simple. If the verb says read, it is simple. I have read a book. Here in the read, if you see, what they had given is I am reading. Okay, then it will be have. It will be have been. So when the word have comes in front of a noun, it will be perfect present. If the word reading is being superseded by have been, then it will be present perfect continuous. So only read will be simple present. Reading will be simple continuous. You have to see the word was. If it is there was, then it will be past. If it is am, it will be reading. Then you'll have comes into picture, it will be present perfect. If it is have been, it will be present perfect continuous. The same way, if it is had, okay, if it is had, it will be past. Have is present, had is past. Had jumped will be present perfect. Had been jumping, jumping is continuous. Had been is coming into picture. So it will be present perfect continuous. Okay. Here, I am jumping means it is present. Here it is, I was jumping. So it becomes past. Okay. So here the action is jumped, hence it is past tense. But if I get into future tense, how will I identify? It will be I shall or will come into picture. That means it is a future tense. Shall will be jumping. Be comes into picture and ing comes into picture after verb. It is future continuous. Then shall will have jumped. Will have comes into picture before will and shall and will. Okay. Then it will be future perfect. Shall will have been jumping. If this comes into picture, it will be future perfect continuous. Okay, this is the standard rule. You can make note of it, and after you make note of it, it will be easier for you to understand how each tense is divided further into 4 tenses. Okay, I will explain you the questions. Just wait. Yes, will and shall will always represent future. So they have used it as will and shall. So will and shall will not have same meaning, but will and shall speaks about future. Okay. So then we get into something called as sentence constructions. So what happens in sentence constructions? A group of words which makes a sentence is called as a group of words which makes a sense is called as a sentence. Okay. Here, grammar also lays down rules for arranging words in a certain order to form meaningful sentences. Here, the sentence can be used to make a statement, or it can be used to make pose a question or question something, or a sentence can be formed to give a command, or a sentence can be used to make a exclamation. Okay, so a sentence can be used in different components. So what is a sentence? Sentence means the part which names the person or a thing we are speaking about is called in a sentence we have two concepts. One is subject and the second one is predicate. So sentence will always have something called as a subject. So let's say if I'm speaking about a tree, okay, that means I'm speaking about a particular tree. That means the tree becomes a subject. Okay, the explanation what I give about a tree will be called as a predicate. Okay, then after that we have something called as phrase. Phrase is a group of words which neither has a finite verb nor make any sense by itself. Depending on its place in the sentence, it may be a noun, adverb, adverbial phrase, whatever I use in a phrase. Okay, in addition to explain a subject will be called as a phrase. So a sentence will be broken up into two components. One is subject and the second one is predicate. Subject is the main matter what I talk about. Predicate will be the additional matters what we take into picture. Okay, phrase are additional words apart from predicate what will be taken up, which can be a noun, adverb, verb, any part of speech. Okay, that comes into picture will be called as a phrase. Okay, so generally they have given two sentences, that is Raj is a wealthy man. Raj is a man of great wealth. Okay, so that means here wealthy man is a man. Okay, he is wealthy, but here they are telling man of great wealth. So it gives a adjective, okay, to the noun. So Raj is a noun. So about him we are speaking. So it is saying he is a wealthy man. The next one it is telling about great wealth. So you can form it either way you want. So it emphasizes something called as adjective. Okay, here we first one what we saw was adjective. Okay, in a phrase how adjective is being used. Then we'll see something called as adverb phrases. So what happens in adverb phrases? He answered rudely. Fine. So how did he answer? He answered rudely. This is a simple phrase. Okay. But here I can add a adverb. Adverb is rudely is a verb. So for to explain rudely, I'm using something additional. So what I'm using? He answered in a very rudely manner. Okay, so that means very rudely becomes an adjective phrase. So phrase is nothing but the word what I'm using. Okay, the word what I'm using here is very. So therefore I'm using something called as adverb phrase. I've used one rude. Rude is a verb phrase. Along with that, I've used something called as very, that is adverb phrase. So in a sentence, I'm using both verb and adverb. Okay, here I used only verb. Here I used both adverb and verb phrase. The next one is noun phrase. So how is a noun used in a particular sentence? My demat account has been closed. So demat account is a noun. Okay, so a noun phrase is being used in a sentence. To win a prize is my ambition. Win a prize, that is an action or a thing or an idea that I have. So win a prize is a noun that is being used in a sentence. Okay, this is a phrase that is being used in a sentence. Fine. After that, we get into something called as types of sentences. In this, we'll understand how a sentence is being phrased. For example, a group of words that form a part of a sentence and has a subject and a predicate of its own is called a clause. Okay, it's called as a clause. If it has a part of speech and has a subject and a predicate, it is called as a clause. Here, the clause can either be a principal or a main clause, and after that we have something called as dependent or subordinate clause. So what happens with principal clause? I'll give you an example. Now, I told you in a sentence, there will be a subject and a predicate. Okay. In a sentence, there will be a subject and a predicate. So let's say I'm going to talk about a tree. Okay. Tree is my subject. I'm going to use certain predicates. That is, I can use phases. Okay. Noun, adverb, verbs, all these things. So how will I phrase this? This is a beautiful mango tree. Okay, this is my main or principal clause. That is my principal statement in a paragraph. Okay, so this is my principal first sentence. Now my second sentence will be um, this tree was planted in the year 2005. So this becomes my dependent sentence. That is, this is a beautiful mango tree. This was planted in the year 2005. So in the second statement, I'm not again saying mango tree. This mango tree was again planted in 2005. I'm not saying that. I'm using a continuous statement. So my first statement, whatever is there, my second statement is built upon my first statement. Okay, so when my first statement is very strong and giving the essence for me to build the entire paragraph, then my first statement will be called as a principal clause statement. Okay, and the next statements, whatever comes, will be called as my subordinate or dependent clause on the principal clause. Okay, I'll just continue this a little bit more. This is a beautiful mango tree. This was planted in the year 2005. This sapling was got from Gujarat. This was planted in Delhi. Okay, so that means I'm always the next three sentences what I spoke. It always depends on my first sentence. That is, it is speaking about the mango tree. Okay, so whenever we are forming a paragraph, the first sentence will be called as a principal or a main clause, and after that, whatever comes into picture will be called as my dependent or subordinate clauses. Okay. Here you can also form one definite verb and one independent clause. That will be a simple sentence. That is, this is a beautiful mango tree. But if I want to make it as a compound sentence, then what I can do? Compound sentence is made up of two or more independent clauses. Okay. For example, night comes on and rain fell heavily and we all got very wet. Okay. Here, instead of making it a three sentences, they are using conjunctions in between and they are making three different sentences into one sentence. When three different sentences are made into one particular sentence, then it will be called as compound sentence, or it can also be called as complex sentence. That is, complex sentence have an independent clause and at least one dependent clause. The human brain never stops working until you stand up to speak in public. Okay, so compound sentences are two or three sentences added into one sentence with the use of conjunctions. Complex sentences are I'm trying to give more explanation about a particular item without breaking it into multiple dependent clauses, okay, or dependent sentences. I have one sentence. With the same sentence, I'm building up additional information in the same sentence. The principal sentence only will be very big. Okay, then it becomes a complex sentence. Clear? There is no difference between noun, noun phrase and all. I'm telling you how a phrase will be used. Phrase is a word and that is being used in a word. That's all. So noun phrase, adjective phrase, everything is same. It is same. But how is that particular phrase? They don't call it as a word. Noun word is being used here, adjective word is being used here. So instead of word, the professional word used here is phrase. Okay. How is a noun phrase used in a sentence? How is a noun adjective phrase used in a sentence? So adjective phrase, noun phrase, everything is nothing but noun and adjective only. For people who are not understanding what I'm speaking about, it is a private message again. Okay, fine. So after these three types of sentences, we enter into sentence construction. So here they're very clear. So if I want to construct a sentence, I should have one subject, one verb, and one object. Okay. So the budget affects the stock market. The budget is the noun, affects is the verb. Okay. Then you have stock market. Stock market is the object what I'm talking about. This sentence may be very it says subject, verb, verb and object. Here the simplest of sentences will have a noun or a pronoun in the beginning, a verb in the middle, another noun or its equivalent in the end. Okay, so there are two nouns here, but both the nouns will not be considered as nouns. One will be considered as noun, the other will be considered as an object. Okay, when I have two nouns, that's how we consider. So I have one noun, and after that I have one verb. After that I have another noun. The other noun will be considered as a object. Okay, so basically in a simple sentence construction, it is always, if you see, okay, you can start reading some books or something today, just go through this textbook only once. After that you might go through some other some normal passage reading or something. There you will understand there will be sentences which will have two nouns connected with one verb. Okay, that is the basic way in which a sentence will be constructed. Right? Then you have sentence construction is based on the kind of writing in question, basic complexity of writing. So when I want to explain a sentence in a form of a question, okay, it can generally be loose sentences or periodic sentences. So what are loose sentences? Loose sentences are suited to simple style of letter writing or are close to spoken forms. They begin with the main statement and develop it to its logical conclusion. So basically loose sentences will be, as I told you, small sentences, simple sentences formed into one big paragraph. Okay, when it is formed into one big paragraph, it will be called as loose sentences put into one paragraph. Okay, like for example, the Reserve Bank of India intervened in the forex market as there were strong rumors about an intense speculation activity caused by the spurt in imports. Okay, now what will periodic sentences be? Are periodic sentences are decorous and emphatic but more difficult to write. The order is reversed and the main statement is made at the end. As example, uh, as there were strong rumors about an intense speculation activity caused by the spurt in imports, the Reserve Bank of India intervened in the forex market. So there are two ways in writing a sentence. I can just write it as a loose sentence giving all the importance, or I can give more emphasis to my writing style. So this is more concentrating on the writing style, how you have to present. So in the writing style presentation, I can intervene and give it as Reserve Bank of India will come at the end, and more all other important aspects will come at the beginning. Okay. Then sentence constructions based on the length. So it can either be short sentences, multiple short sentences giving more meaning, or longer sentences. But if you are writing longer sentences in your exams, like not now, once you get into executive level and all, if you're writing longer sentences, please make sure your grammar is proper, your grammar errors are taken care of, and you give enough thought and planning in writing your longer sentences. So shorter sentences will have multiple breakups, longer sentences will have one sentence, but it will be a complex sentence. Okay. Then after that, something comes into picture is paragraph construction. So paragraph construction is very, very, very important. So when you when like in your exams you would have written till date in your 10th standard, 12th standard degree and all. So when you start writing some content, make sure the content doesn't flow beyond 3 or 4 or 5 sentences. So once 5 sentences are being done, we have to ensure that we break it up and make it into a new paragraph. Okay, we should have the this all comes through writing skills. Okay, so once you start writing, it will be easier for you to understand how you have to make these sentences. So whether I have to have it in one particular way or can I have it little more better way. So once I make 4 sentences, I can stop here, I can start with a new paragraph. So once I do something like this, it becomes easier for us to understand. Okay, so paragraph construction will be important in writing your answers. Okay, then we come into a concept called as prefix and suffixes. So what is prefix and suffix? So prefix and suffix is an affix is an addition to the base form or stem of a word in order to modify its meaning or create a new word. So here what we are going to do is a particular word is being added in front of a word. It can be a, an, ill. I'll explain you the words. So when a word is being added in front of another word, then it is called as prefix. When a word is added at the end of the word, it is called as suffix. Okay, so when it is added at the beginning, it is called as prefix. So what are the different types of prefixes? Here, the different types of prefixes are supportive prefix, opposing prefix, negative prefix, reversation prefix, derivative prefix, place prefix, size prefix, time prefix, number prefix, class changing prefix, and miscellaneous prefix. Now, I'll just give you certain examples. You can go back to the textbook and you can go in detail. Okay. You go in detail and study all these things once. You will understand. It's not very difficult or something. Okay. So, supportive prefix. So, supportive prefix means, for example, what they have told is pro. Pro can be used in front of a meaning, giving, favoring, or supporting as a prefix. So, how can it be? For example, pro choice, pro market, pro life. Okay, when a word called pro is being used in front of another word, it says it I'm supporting it furthermore. Okay, that's called as supportive prefixes. Then you have opposing prefixes. So if I add any word in front of another word, it gives a opposite meaning. Like anti means against. It is antibody, antibacterial, antibiotic. So if I have any infections or anything, if I take any of these, it is going to work in the opposite way. Okay. Or you can have contra, which is contraception, contraindicate, okay, which is reverse action. Contrasting is contraflow, contraactive, reverse way. Okay. Then you have um, counter, that is opposite, that is counteract, counter example, counter attack. Okay, so these are called as opposing. Opposing is I'm going something against. Okay, it's giving this is the particular action but I'm doing something opposite. Okay, that means opposing prefixes. Then you have negative prefixes. Negative prefix is if I add that word, okay, if I had a particular word in front of another word, it will give a negative meaning. Like a. A means not or without, like amoral, a historical, atheist, asymmetric. Okay, or an, not lacking, anesthesia, anesthesiatic. So all these words will get into an. Then you have dis. Dis will come with disloyal. Loyal is being good. Disloyal is negative. Okay, opposite of that. In is injustice, inactive. So when I'm using certain words like this, it will be giving a opposite meaning. Okay, negative meaning. That means negative prefixes. So in this you have certain negative prefixes. Kindly go back to your textbook, read all these things. They won't when they ask you a question, moral, what is the negative prefix, they will give you 4 options. In the 4 options you should be able to pick up one. So for that perspective, just go through the textbook once and read all these things. So it will be helpful for you. Okay. Because of time constraint, we can't go with each one, but I'll explain you the concepts, right? So then you have something called as reverse prefixes. So what happens is in reverse prefixes, you're doing some activity in order to, I'm adding one word. If I add that word in front of another word, it will reverse the activity what is being done. For example, D. D means reverse. Decriminalize. So a person was being criminalized. Now he's being decriminalized. The activity is being reversed. Dehumidify. The place was too much humidified, so I dehumidified the place. Deselect, it was selected before, now we deselected. Okay, the action is being reversed, then it is called reverse prefixes. Then you have disqualified, dishonest, disinvest. Then you have untie, unscramble, unlock. Okay, the action is being reversed, then it's called as reverse prefixes. Then you have derivative prefixes. In derivative prefixes, we have something which we derive at. Okay, the meaning of removing something or deriving something or from someone. Like remove something, debug, defrost. Okay, the frost is being removed, the bug is being removed. Then depart, in terms of depart, deplane, detrain, derail. Okay, all those things. Then disarm, dissolution, disambiguity, or un will be unleaded, unmarked. Okay, something that is being removed. Then you have pejorative preservatives. Pejoratives are expression contents disapproval or bad or wrong. When I'm trying to express my feelings of I'm not happy, okay, something has gone wrong. So then what we do is we use something called as where it will be miscalculate, misgovern, misspell, something like this. Okay. Then you have place prefixes. So what happens in place prefixes? Here you have anti, that is before, antitude or antechamber, anteroom, or something like this, or circum. Circum is surrounded, circumvent, circumnavigate, circumlocution, which is surrounded by something. Or you have cis. Cis can be cisalpine or cis altitude or cis lunar. Then you have extra. Extra is outside or beyond us. Extracurricular, extrasensatory, or something like that. Or it can be four. Four is front or before time. Forefinger, forecoat, forearm. Or it can be in, ill, im, ir, indoors, impatient, inside, in debt, something like this. So when I'm speaking about time, okay, or place, sorry, about place, then it becomes place prefixes. Also, it can be post or it can be pre, it can be out, outdoor, outpatient, outside, or surpass, outside. Then you have over, overthrow, overshadow, overcast. Okay, it can be any of these things. So kindly go through once again, read it peacefully. It's not very tough or something. You will understand it. Okay. Then you have something called as size prefixes. In size, what all will come? Mega. Mega means very big. Megaphone, megastar, all those things. Midi means medium, midi computer, midi bus. Mini means small. When I'm using a prefix like mini bus, mini series, or mini cab or something, it is a small one. Then you have time prefixes. Time prefixes speak more about anti, that is before, ex, former, former wife, ex-president, ex-student or something. For, again, forenoon, foresee, that will be there. See, don't get confused with place prefix and time prefix. They are similar, but what I talk about here will be important. In time prefix, I speak about noon. Noon is time. See is something where I'm going to see. Okay. Or tell, I'm going to forecast. Okay. Or something like this. It will be considered as time prefix, and also it will be considered as place prefix. So they are interchangeably used. So if you have a doubt, time prefix is also same, place prefix is also same. Certain places it is interchangeably used, hence it can be used as time prefix or place prefix. Okay. Then you have number prefix, where mono means single, monorail, monochrome, and all these things. Uni means again single, unilateral. Then you have bi is two, di is three, dioxide, three is triangle, three. Okay, like this, they have given all the words with respect to words. Just a minute. Hello. Okay, just 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. I'll just close this. Yeah. Okay. Then you have status prefix, which can be co-join, pro-deputy, or vice president, or something like this. We can add it. Then you have class changing prefixes, where the class will be changed, be which where we are trying to belittle, or where we are trying to reduce the actual meaning of that particular verb. Then it will be called as class changing prefixes. Then you have something called as miscellaneous prefixes, which will be which doesn't fall into any of these categories, like echo, euro, para, or quasi, or self. Okay, so these can be different types of prefixes which is being used. Okay, any other doubts? Can we close? 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. The notes will be provided by the chapter. It will be shared to them, and they will share it with you. Okay. Fine. I think your next class starts now. We can have it again tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. The recordings will be provided by ICSI later on.